What's going on, everybody? We're back. We're live. I got my headphones on, so it may not look like it, but it is. They're on. Code and Evelyn, what's going on? Farida, what's going on? I don't know. When was the last time we did a show? We hadn't done a show in a minute. When was the last time we did a show? Let me look. What over Lambo Mercy? We need to do no meetup this week. When was the last time we did a show? 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks. That's a long time in YouTube years. We're talking YouTube time. That's a long time. Oh, D, you say 3 weeks? It say 2 weeks on here for episode 151. I've been busy. We did one for episode 151. I hopped off. I did it in no, episode 150. Yeah, 151. I think it looks like I did it in an hour and 17 minutes. I only did it for an hour. See, you don't remember when I don't do stuff. Like if it ain't over 2 hours, you can't remember. D was like, we only need to do an hour. She don't understand. She don't understand. D don't understand. So much has happened. Before we continue, let me give my condolences to Fat Man Scoop and the family. Um, Fat Man Scoop has passed away, so let me give my condolences on that. And also let me give my condolences to Cam Newton and Nick Cannon for getting ethered on their own podcast. Gosh, I see. I've done a lot. I've been to, let's see, I've been to DC. I have been working on stuff. Just a lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of people to manage. And everybody got an attitude. Everybody got something to say until it's time to do the work. Everybody got an idea until it's time to do the work. That's how I look at it. And then I got BitCon is this week up in Atlanta. Blackest Tech was in Houston. I spoke at Blackest Tech. I keynoted there. I'll talk about the jobs that's available. I mentioned those as well too there. I ended up talking to Simone Bees. So she has a tech conference coming up in December in DC. Basically going over everything I talk about: government contracting, getting jobs. How does it look? How does it look to work for a contractor? You know. So I'll be speaking at that. I have my own stuff that I need to do. Amazon sent you to Nashville for 6 7 training. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Congratulations. Alonzo, what's going on? And I've been cool. I've been mentally tired. Just mentally tired. Not because oh my goodness, mentally tired because I because of the not just because of the work, but just in general, just like managing people, code switching, making sure people do their job, making sure people come to work. You know, if you want to keep your black job, you got to come to work. It's just what it is. Cash, are we getting money? Yeah, I kick off some stuff this week. Um, you know, Got some work to do there. Got a lot of opportunities out there. I don't know, you know, I hear people getting laid off, but that's not what I'm receiving on my end. When people are contacting me saying, "Hey, I posted it inside the Slack. Hey, you want to be a Linux admin, and DC will pay you $200,000 for to be a Linux admin, right?" Started yesterday. I started to call you as well. I started to call you. Let me go here to jobs. Let me see. Yeah, Linux system engineer, TSSCI, 180 to 200, 46 hours on site in Herndon, 4 years of experience as a system engineer, and 2 years of technical experience. Strong knowledge of VPN, NAT routing, mm, analyze logs, trace, stack traces, debug, software, hardware, possesses understanding of Python and Bash. And I posted that. That's from 180 to 200K. And I posted several other jobs, right? I keep posting. I hope y'all apply. And some of them, they already know y'all coming from Women in Linux. So, if you don't follow through, I can't do nothing about that. I can't do nothing about that. Heather, how you like going in? No wrong with you being at your black job, Miss James. Keep your black job. Keep your black job. All right. Do I want to start off petty? Let's do. Let's start off petty. And then we'll roll into other stuff. He said it's interesting, Heather. Let me tell you. This is what you do. You're starting off, you're at Boeing. You should find out what ERGs they have, employee resource groups. You should also be looking at what their 401k structure and bonus structure is. You should also be looking at what free training you can get. They should have free Amazon and Azure and Terraform. All that should be free. All that should be free. You should be, and if you can't find it by you should be searching their website. Go in and search all the website. All look at past stock calls that they had, past everything. Go recordings, just sit there and just listen to it. And just get all in the mix. Find all you need to find. Find the people. I'm sure Boeing has a black ERG group. What up, Kamai? How you doing? Intentional millionaire, you already got a white job. If and don't nobody in the block in the spot look like you're more than likely got a white job. All right, so let's go. Let's start it off. We're gonna start petty and then I'll work backwards. All right. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. My second husband wants to put our $750,000 home in a trust for his children. Does he have the right? Does he have the right? I don't want anyone telling me what to do. My second husband wants to put our $750,000 home in a trust for his children. Does he have the right? After I retired, I sold my home that we had been living in and it became a part of my portfolio. So let's go. This person says my personal retirement and savings total 1 million and his savings exceed 3 million. All right, let's go. They millionaires. My husband and I have been married for 15 years. We get along with each other's we get along well with each other's adult children, and I believe we have a good marriage. He is 72, I am 62. We are both retired. He has a lot more money than me in savings and retirement. He has a very good pension which supports us. My personal retirement and savings total 1 million and his exceed 3 million. My social security is 1655 a month. His pension is $10,000 a month, not counting his retirement and IRAs. After I retired, I sold my home that we had been living in, and it became a part of my portfolio. My husband sold his and he bought a new home for us in his name only. We are both in total agreement that his money and investments will go to his two children and grandchildren, and mine will go to my two children. Hope that's in writing. We have not finalized our new wills. Our home, or at least the house we live in, is worth about 750,000 and has gained 100,000 in equity. My husband wants to put the house in a trust that states that I could live in it and maintain it for as long as I would like, should he predecease me. Upon my death, it will go to his children. He has annuitized a portion of his pension, so it would be possible for me to do this, although not with the same income I'm receiving now, which is okay with me. If we both continue to live a long life together, this would not be a problem. We're both fairly in good health. If he were to pass away tomorrow, could I sell the home and buy something less expensive buy something less expensive to maintain, closer to my children? Upon my death, would the proceeds of the house go to his kids? Would they have a say in what I did with the house and where I lived? If I did not want to live in that house and maintain it by myself, what are my options short of turning it over to them immediately and using my own retirement money to set up new residence? Hmm. Let's see what Quentin has to say. I'm a very independent person and I don't want nobody telling me what to do, even my own children. We live in Florida. I want to be fair to everyone. I left my job and that I liked, and it would not be possible for me to go back. I really would not want to take the money out of my retirement to purchase a home. This is really causing me anxiety. See, I be having problems with this. And here's the problems that I have with it. In every situation, it's always, and I get it, trust me. The woman leaves her job, she goes and moves in with this guy, and then it's almost like a regret type of situation because she moved in, and the next thing you know, she's like, well, in the house that we're living in, if he dies before me, the kids get the house, or he's leaving the house to the children, and he's like, F your kids. I'm not leaving them nothing. Them your kids. I'm not taking, it's always something. So I always have an issue with with these stories. So let's go. It says you're looking at it from the inside. You need to take off your rose tinted or happy tinted spectacles and look at the proposal through the eyes of a lawyer. Your lawyer, not one who has been hired by your husband. You would not be permitted to sell this home if it were put in a trust under your husband's name, especially if his children were listed as the beneficiaries and the house goes to them after both of you pass away. Your anxiety is not misplaced. It says it's forward thinking of your husband to buy a home for both of you to live in for the rest of your lives, put it in a trust, and also to deed it to his children. He is also including you in the decision making process. As letter writers to this column can attest, is in second marriages it's important to make plans and to avoid trusting your spouse to pass on your entire estate to your children after you're gone. Your husband is clearly aware of this. Case in point, this stepmother who sold the family home for $1 million despite her late husband wishes to wish that she lived in the house when she dies to pass it on children. This is that kind of outcome you want to avoid. I have an important question before I dig into the logistics of your husband's plan. How did he actually pay for the house? Florida is an equitable distribution state where assets are split in a divorce fairly. It's not always equally. If he is using marital funds, the house will remain marital property and you should not sign anything. If a particular property or asset was purchased or otherwise acquired, in most cases during the marriage, it is considered marital property. And this is for Florida. It does not matter if the property, the asset was acquired by one or both spouses. It's marital property. For instance, if the husband purchases a classic car during the course of his marriage to his to his wife, the classic car will be considered marital property. Even if the husband purchased the property with the money from his own paycheck and only his name appears on the title, the car is still likely to be treated as marital property. Y'all need to know the states in which you live in. It's marital property, regardless of if he took that money out and bought it with his own money. A common myth is that the spouse can protect an asset by keeping it in his or her name. This is not true in Florida. This is not true in Florida. Appreciation of separate property can also be considered marital property. If a couple divorces, if a non marital asset becomes more valuable because of the work of one or both spouses, or because one or both spouses spent marital funds or assets on improving it or enhancing it, that is the difference between the present value of the asset and the value of the asset prior to marriage. This can be considered marital property. But it's more important to keep in mind there are different rules that look at whether the enhancement was due to active labor, marital money investment, or passive appreciation. From what you say, your husband is suggesting giving you a right to occupy the home. In that case, you would not have the right to sell the home, and if you decided to move, the trust would treat that as if you had died. Sell the home and divide the proceeds between your stepchildren. Depending on the terms, the trust could allow you to downsize, but the money made on the transaction goes to your stepchildren. Or your husband could stipulate that you receive any appreciation on the value of the house while you live there if you decide to move. So basically, he's telling her that if he goes to put this in the trust, you're at the mercy of the trust and the rules centered around that and the beneficiary. She needs to have she needs to fight up front beforehand before it goes into the trust. The trust could also stipulate your home as a life estate, providing you with the right to own the home for the rest of your life, whether or not you physically occupied the property. You could live in it or rent it out to use income during the retirement. Couples in your situation can also plan ahead. It seems too late in your case, but your husband could have provided you with a term life insurance policy. If he dies within a certain designated period of time, you could receive a lump sum in cash. He could pay a premium for the period of time, typically anywhere from between 10 to 30 years. Still, you both have healthy retirement incomes. This is all I guess it's supposed to be minute compared to the bigger issue. What funds did your husband use to purchase this house? And does he have the right to make sure that the entire property goes to his children? Consult a lawyer before you finalize any new wills. I don't recommend you use the same attorney. You should have a lawyer who can represent you, and at the very least, go through your options and rights before you sign post-nuptial agreement or a new last will and testament. Depending on the money he is using to buy this house, it may be that you will have to agree for this property to be excluded from your joint marital assets. Be careful before signing any document you don't understand. What would you all do in this situation? She sold her house. She moved in with him. The money for her house went to the portfolio. Who knows if they jointly bought a house together? If she used funds or he used his own funds to buy the house. What would you do? All right. So let's talk about it because everybody is all up in arms about this. Everybody is all up in arms about this, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about the most educated city. Y'all heard about this, right? Y'all heard about Atlanta being the most educated city. People are really upset about this, right? So here, let's start from the top of this article here. What are the most educated cities in the US? Top 100 cities ranked. In the US, people with higher levels of education tend to earn higher salaries. In fact, workers with bachelor's degrees make $595 more than those with only high school diplomas, according to the median U.S. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? Median. So let's go back over here. Um, Let me bring it over. Let me see what year is this. This is 2023. All right. So if you got a doctoral degree, medium, let's go here. Let me go back. It's not the one I want, but it still works. You can see the median US weekly earnings. It says median. So your master's, your professional degree, your doctoral degree, and then you got your high school diploma versus some college and so forth, right? All right. Let's see. I'm looking it up so we can get the accurate. What's going on, Journey Jasmine? How you doing? Mm, 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 mm. I'm looking for the one um where it shows the degree pays like $1 million more than what the act than you having a um uh like your lifetime earnings. I had to find it again. But basically for men it was if you had a degree, you out earn your counterparts by like I think 900,000. For women it was 630,000, and then if you got a master's degree or it says advanced degree it's 1.5 million. I got the stats memorized because I love it when people talk about the degree versus no degree. Hold on, let me look it up, see if I can find it. I have to when I find it, I'll bring it back up. Oh, did you get it? Oh yeah, it was Social Security wanted. Yeah, it was Social Security, not the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Let me see. Mhm. Mm. Yep. Yep. So right here, the there are substantial differences in lifetime earnings by educational attainment. Men with bachelor's degrees earn approximately $900,000 more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates, and women with bachelor's degrees earn $630,000 more. Men with graduate degrees earn a 1.5 million more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates, and women with graduate degrees earn 1.1 million more. I don't make it up. This ain't made this straight come from the Social Security. They would know. All right. It says after controlling key socioeconomic demographic variables that influence earnings and probability of college completion, the differences in lifetime earnings by education attainment are reduced, but still substantial. It's showing here 655 and then 455. Right. So to give it to you uh, in the in this raw form, let me open that up and I'll put it above my head here, and then I'll zoom in a little bit here. So on the right we see men, right? And the colors are with gross without controls and then with controls. Right. And then net. So gross versus net. So this is for those of you that's wondering, like, should you finish high school? Should you finish? Should you go to college? Again, you got to be strategic about going to school and strategic about education and strategic about the jobs and strategic about the actual search that you get, right? Same thing here with women. Same thing here with women. You can argue, but you can't argue stacks. You can't argue numbers. That's all I'm gonna say. You can't argue numbers. Let's see what fact sheets by beneficial demographic. I'm just curious. Let's see what this 2050 is. And let me make it smaller so I can see. Beneficiaries are individuals receiving any type of Social Security under the current law 2050. This shares a beneficiary identifying as Hispanic or Latino or other races will be larger in 2024. Beneficiaries identified as Black or Hispanic Latino will have lower median levels of monthly benefits and household wealth. Right? And they're just showing you highest level of education. I showed this table before. I've shown you this before, right? Where they're saying here less than high school, right? And then you get up here to associates and then bachelors, right? When you start, and I never I never understood why they never break down and put Asian in here. They just put all other races. They never put down Asians in here. But this is what there's is expectation by 2055. I mean by 2050. They'll be right there together by 2050. What degrees would I choose? Oh, I'm gonna always go with computer engineering. I'm gonna always go. I think there's a and then here's the other thing. A lot of people say this all the time when I'm listening to all these podcasts. I'm gonna put it this way. Would you go to the doctor if the doctor didn't have a degree. If somebody had to do a breast exam on you, or they had to, if you was a woman and you had to get um any type of medical procedure done, would you want the lawyer with a degree, or would you want a lawyer? I mean, a doctor with a degree, or would you want the the doctor without the degree? You tell me. They you tell me what you want. I'm not saying all degrees are good and all people are good. I'm just saying if you had to take a look at it, you was opening up a book and you looked at this person, they started accepting doctors without degrees. Would you go with the doctor that got the degree or not? All right. So I always go back to that. Like, when does a degree matter? Everybody's like, degrees don't matter. I'm like, mm, fellas, if someone had to do a colon cleanse on you, would you want your colon to be cleansed by someone with the degree or without the degree? I'm just asking. If you had someone to go in and they had to cuff your balls, say you had to cough, do you want the person to have a degree or no degree? I just ask questions because I just know I'm gonna try to have some type of level of trust with the person who actually has the degree. Not to say that I fully trust the person. I'm just gonna look at them and say, you know what, Doc, you right. You right, Doc. Now I may get a second opinion, but uh you can't you I don't know about you, but ladies, we know when we go get a pap smear, you don't want the woman that has came off the street talking about she just she just looked at YouTube and then she went through and got a test and she can do pap smears now. Damn. Yeah, but the geek surgeon, here's the issue that I have with the whole conversation. There are men and women who have degrees in the medical field, who are lawyers, who are engineers, who are research have their research and do doctoral stuff in physics and math and science and work at the CDC. They work on nuclear reactors. I got a friend who works on the nuclear side dealing with nuclear reactors. I got another friend who got their PhD in chemistry and works at Duke. I got another friend. I got a lot of friends that got PhDs that work in research and do a lot of good things. I'm going to trust their judgment in terms of the fact they have spent time in those areas. You just can't tell me, like, you know what? I went and looked on YouTube, and YouTube said that's not true. Like, I'm sorry. I think your degree matters, and I think it matters in the areas that we most need them in. Should you would you trust someone? Like, here's a good prime example that I think gets looked a lot in when it comes to picking cities and how cities are developed are the architectural engineers, the whole landscaping thing. One of the big things, and this was a study that was done on this, is why does Houston flood all the time? Because they've overbuilt in that city where when it rains, the ground, the grass, there's no grass, it can't soak up nothing. So it just rains, it just floods. Plus the design of it, right? Like, I just for me, I'm going to trust someone who has studied like the design of how to design a city, not necessarily a smart city, but a city that does not flood. What things do we need to put in place in order to prevent those things? I'm going to trust that person. If they went to college and studied that, I'm rolling with that person. And also rolling with the person that's been in the job for at least 15, 20 years. They've seen some things, they know some things. They may not know all the new stuff, but they know some things, right? So yeah, yeah. During the Jasmine, I don't know how y'all go to the veneer tech to get y'all horse teeth put in, but y'all be coming out looking like Green Acres is the place to be. Firm living is the life. Y'all be looking like Mr. Ed and everything. Like, I don't understand how y'all do it. Y'all be coming out here with these veneers. I'm like, and then I'm like, don't you know I know teeth aren't that perfect? Like y'all teeth be perfect. Y'all be out here looking like Mr. Ed and Green Acres. I be like, nah, man. Y'all say nasty work. I call it wicked work. That's wicked. Wicked work. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick. Hold on. So y'all can see what I think some people be looking like. Hold on, it's coming in. Hold on. This what I think some people be looking like. Oh, they don't went away. There you go. Look at that. They were looking like Mr. Ed. Hold on, let me get the steel. Cause that's what it be looking like to me. Let me pull up Mr. Ed. They playing with me. They got a video of it. This a gift, but yeah, you can see here. This steel right here, y'all be in the pictures like and like and I know I have teeth, but I don't have teeth like that. You just finished your AI/ML masters. For my research and mentoring graduate degrees are common in data science and ML. Yep, wicked. It'd be wicked. And then y'all be sitting there having the nerve to get up in little babies' faces, tell me, "Hey, little baby," teeth be like, "Yeah," and the baby be like, "Yeah." Mm-mm. Look at this, and then y'all put it on top of your teeth and stuff. I don't get it. Baby hairs and veneers. Is if that's what hey fellas, if that's what's sexy to y'all, have at it. If baby hairs and veneers is sexy to you, I ain't in it. And ladies, can y'all stop getting the baby hairs that be all the way down here to your eyebrows? Why y'all baby hair be all the way down here? When I was a baby, went back and looked at my baby pictures, and they were never my baby hairs were never down this far. I went and looked at my baby pictures. I said, "Where this come from?" My baby pictures, y'all baby hairs be lining up with your eyebrows. Baby hairs are not supposed to be in line with your eyebrows. And then y'all go get the baby hair that swoop down, and so it looked like a comb on the front. It looked like a comb sitting on the top of your head right here. I don't understand. Maybe I'm old, mm, right? Why is your baby hair all the way down here? I don't understand. And fellas, can y'all stop getting y'all hair cut with them chalk lines around the edges? Cause every time I look at it, I be wanting to just take a rag and just maybe something. He missed the spot. I don't want to wipe off your Beijing or your fibers, but I'm just saying it's just not hot. It's just not hot. Yeah, them lace baby hairs, it ain't fly. And then the eyebrow, the eyelashes. Listen, I've been over there. I just don't understand how y'all get the eyelashes. Why you get them so big? I don't know. Maybe somebody is like, you know what, these eyelashes is fly. Um, I don't know. Listen, women don't wear them unless men like it. I'm trying to tell you, there's some man out there that's like, "Hey, baby girl, I like your lashes." Hey, baby girl, there's somebody out there, right? It's somebody out there. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what I see. Oh, and the other thing, last but not least, my last little thing. Can y'all stop getting nails this long? Why the nails gotta be so long? I don't understand why they so long. That's how I know you don't do no work. Ain't no way. Ain't no way you do no work with your nails that long. Ain't no way. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Don't shoot me. I'm just putting it out there. All right, let's go. Word on the curve is Gen X is so unprepared for retirement, they're being called the silver squatters because 1 in 5 are counting on help from their kids. That's what they call 'em. They're calling some of the Gen Xers silver squatters. Let's go. Gen X has gone, let me blow it up a little bit there. All right. Gen X has gone by so many names over the years. They started out as the MTV generation, became known as the Latchkey Kids, and were labeled Americans' Forgotten Child. But as retirement looms closer for Gen X, a new term is popping up in conversations that captures the anxiety and the uncertainty many are feeling, calling them silver squatters. We got a new name. Let's go. Is a phrase that vividly paints a picture of a generation grappling with looming financial crisis as they edge into their mid 50s without the cushion needed for a secure retirement. The silver nods to the graying hair that comes with age, while squatter suggests a scenario where these individuals might find themselves I was going to say bunking with their adult children, a last resort due to the inadequate retirement savings. Let's face it, the numbers don't lie, and they're pretty, and they aren't pretty. A recent Prudential Financial Survey has laid out a sobering reality. The median retirement savings for 55 years and older stands at 50,000. It's a far cry from what's recommended for comfortable retirement. Here's the kicker: many Gen Xers are caught in the sandwich generation squeeze, trying to financially support their kids and aging parents while also worrying about their retirement. It's a tough spot. With the savings falling short, more Gen Xers are starting to look toward their families for support to their golden years. Nearly 25% of the 55-year-olds are banking on financial help from their children, particularly millennials and Gen Z. But there's a catch. Many haven't broached this topic with their families yet. Imagine a surprise and the potential strain this could cause down the line. You better get your money up. So let me see. That's perfect storm. Yep. Let's see. So let's see. And also we saw this here. The number of 401k millionaires is up by 43% from last year. I'm okay with it. A lot of people tell you don't be a W2 millionaire. I'm gonna say different. Gonna be a W2 millionaire. All right. Let's see. So how did we get here? The predicament of the silver squatters isn't just the result of poor planning; it's also a product of larger economic forces, including inflation, the decline of traditional pension plans, and the widespread financial illiteracy. And I mean, add to the looming uncertainty about Social Security future, thanks to funding concerns and possible benefits cuts. And it's no wonder there's no such anxiety. And you should be planning your retirement and not including Social Security, right? It's gonna be there, but it's not gonna be there like it normally would. So, but don't make it like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be dependent on that. Don't do that. All right. It says, adding to the loom uncertain about Social Security, thanks for funding concerns, blah, blah, blah. All is not lost. Financial experts suggest a few strategies that could help this generation catch up, even if it's just around the corner. Boost savings, consider part time work, delay Social Security. The power of communication. Perhaps the most important step Gen Xers can take right now is have an open, honest conversation with their families. I don't have to have an open, honest conversation problem. So let's talk about this for a little bit right here. Let's sit right here for a minute and let's do this. And let's do the calculator, our favorite thing. All right. Let's say they say the average, see, average 401k at let's see, for Gen X. They say 50. All right. Yeah, it says Gen Xers is 54,000. However, the average 401k balance for Gen Xers have been contributing to a single employer plan for the last 15 years is 543. This is the first time Gen X have surpassed baby boomers in 401k. So they say 543 for the last 15. I'm just gonna play devil advocate and do 100,000, right? So you got $100,000 in there. Let's say between you and the employer, you guys are putting away about mm, I'm gonna be on the low end on this one. I'm gonna say 2,000. We're gonna say you're putting in. Let's do a 10-year run. Let's do 8 here, and then let's do a variance of 2 and calculate. So in 10 years, you'll be at 563. That's at, let's say if you're at 50 and you're putting in 2,000, you have 563 left. Now, let's say you up the ante on this one over the years, and let's say you maybe put in 4,000. That's a lot. A lot of people can't do 4,000. So in order to get there in a year, you have to be putting in 4,000 a month. So this is where the strategy comes into play. This is why I say, and this is a lesson learned for a lot of you all. Like, especially if you're the 40 and over crew, you're gonna have to be strategic about where you work. You need as much help from the employer into your 401k as possible, or you need to have some side money coming in, or you need to make sure that your salary is high enough where you could take these bumps and bruises of putting away 2 and 3, $4,000 a month, right? So you can only probably put in 2,000 a month because that'll be from your 23 that you're gonna max out. But your employer should also be doubling what they putting in for that. So let's say you are putting in the 2,000 a month and your employer does a match. Right, this will get you to that 1 million by 60. Now, I've already told you my thought process and my plan, what I think I'm gonna do, right? And if you've been on here before, you know I've talked about this before. Uh, that's if you're doing that Roth. But if you got something, if you're doing for I mean not 401k IRA, if you're doing a 401k Roth, you got the 23,000 that go in, and then the employer puts in, and that's 69,000 between you and the employer. But I already told you my thought process here. Hop over to the OPM side, the federal government, and let them pay for your insurance inside of retirement. You only got to work 5 years to do it, and then go from there. This look like it say 2005. Let me see if I can find out. early one. I mean a later one. It may be the latest. All right, 2024. And they got it by state. Even better. So let's look at Florida. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Uh-huh. I need to know all the benefits. That's the plan. That's the health care. There's the dental, long term. Um, let's see. Uh, TSP. Yeah, they got the thrift savings plan. Yep. All right. So, yeah, the basic benefit plan, your Social Security, and your thrift savings. And I think going in this way, you can at least work 5 years, let them pay for your medical and retirement. Here's the types of retirement. You got disability, early retirement, voluntary retirement, deferred, and annuity supplement. All right. See, who retired at 62 are generally eligible to receive not only their first annuity retirement benefit after they retire, but their thrift saving plan benefit and their Social Security benefit. However, if you're eligible to retire before 62 and are not yet eligible for Social Security under the Social Security Act, you're generally entitled instead to a first annuity supplement. Okay, so this is if you retire, you need an annuity supplement. But then again, you also still got to remember who wants to pay for their medical stuff inside of retirement, and you will probably end up be having two different forms of money coming in. When I say that, you will still have, say you worked at, I don't know, say you worked at Lockheed Martin for 20 years. You'll still have your Lockheed Martin stuff. You can leave and go government, work it for 5 to 7 years, put some max out all the money there, still get money from there. And again, I was talking to a couple of folks about this, about the rule of 55, where you can retire from one place but still go work somewhere else. Let's look and see what they're saying over at Charles Schwab. All right. All right, Rule of 55. Hoping to access your 401k early. With the Rule of 55, you'll be able to access and take out early withdrawals from your 401k. Here's what you need to know. If you ever invested in a 401k or similar tax deferred plan from your employer, you'll likely know you're generally expected to keep the money in the account to 59 and a half. If you don't want to be stuck with a penalty. However, there is an exception to the penalty if you want to access your money a little earlier. With the rule of 55, you have a potential to begin taking distributions from your 401k before you normally could. Here's what you need to know. Well, it's the rule of 55. The IRS rule of 55 recognizes you might leave or lose your job before you reach 59 and a half. If that happens, you might need to begin taking distributions from your 401k. Unfortunately, there's usually a 10% penalty on top of the taxes you owe when you withdraw your money early. This is where the rule of 55 comes in. If you turn 55 or older during the calendar year you lose your job or leave your job, you can begin taking distributions from your 401k without paying the early penalty. However, you must still pay taxes on the withdrawals, which is fine. Not only does the rule of 55 work with a 401k, but it also can apply to other qualified retirement plans such as 403b. If you have a retirement plan from your employer, you might be able to take advantage of this rule. You can verify whether or not you can use this exception by checking the summary plan description you received or access electronically. So you got to make sure that you can get that. You got to make sure you can get that. You said what can't be played. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What can't be played? Five things to know about the Rule of 55. Public safety employees get an extra 5 years earlier. So, fellas, ladies, anybody that's looking to date a police officer, a firefighter, a EMT, or air traffic controller, just know they can under the Rule of 55 they can go out at 50. Just know they can go out at 50. Double check though. You can withdraw only from the plan specific to the employer in which you lose your job from, right? You must leave your job the calendar year you turn 55 or later. The rule of 55 doesn't apply if you left your job, say, at 53. You can't start taking distributions from your 401k and avoid the early withdrawal penalty once you reach 55. However, you can apply to the IRS rules of 55 if you're older and leave your job. If you get laid off or quit your job at age 57, for example, you can start taking withdrawals from your 401k you were contributing to the time you left your employer. The balance must stay in the employer's 401k while you're taking early withdrawals. Right? So it's got to stay within their plan. So that you're still beholden to whatever that plan that they have. You're still beholden to their offerings. Right? You can withdraw your 401k even if you get another job. Finally, you can keep withdrawing from your 401k even if you get another job later. Let's say you turn 55 and retire from your work. You decide you need to take a penalty-free withdrawals under the rule of 55 and begin to take distributions from your employer's plan. Later at age 57, you decide you want to get a part-time job. You can still keep getting distributions from your old plan as long as it was your 401k you were contributing to when you quit at the age of 55. Should you use the rule of 55, even if you're eligible to withdraw penalty free from 401k or other qualified retirement plan early, consider it carefully. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, so forth and so on. Be aware your employer may automatically roll your 401k over to an IRA. Your 401k balance drops to 5,000 or below. You won't lose the money, but it may end up in an IRA that you did not choose. Finally, if you make contributions to the Roth 401k, the contribution portion of the withdrawal are usually tax free on the Roth side, right? So determine if taking withdrawals from your Roth 401k makes sense, or should it be withdrawn from your taxable account. So just want to give you that, right? Being strategic. We talked about that with the particular job. We also talked about the benefits of those jobs, and also being strategic about, and this is the other thing, where you live at matters. People are like, no, I want to be remote. Okay, that's great. Being remote is fine. But sometimes you have to go in. And sometimes it's okay to go into a job and say, hey, you got to do some work and still get your money, right? I'm just saying, set yourself up where if something happens into the one job that you're working, it can flip and you can go to another location, another area, and still in that same area and still get a job, right? You want to be the go-to person when it comes to the jobs, right? When it comes to it, and I mean in this case of, if you know virtualization really really well, or RKE2 really really well, or whatever your niche is, make sure that everyone knows that that's your niche and you can move how you want to move. That's the important piece. The strategy is have the employer help you with your 401k. The more they put in, the less you have to put in, right? But remember, you're reducing your taxable income. Second, be strategic about the areas in which you work and and following the money, right? We already know that places like Huntsville, San Antonio, so forth and so on, all have these different places where the money resides. Which brings back to why we got off this subject, why we came over here. Where is my article? Do 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 right here. Why we came over here was because of Forbes. So the cities. Let me go down. Let me scroll down, and I'll come back up there to it. Atlanta, number one, bachelor's completion rate for ages 25 and up, 59%. Ages 25 plus with graduate degrees, 26, and the racial gap in bachelor's degree attainment 22 minus 22%. Home of colleges Emory, Georgia Tech, Georgia State is no surprise is highly educated in Georgia's capital. Nearly 60% of its residents hold bachelor's degrees, while 26.68% have graduate degrees. Atlanta does report a wide racial gap in bachelor's degree attainment. Next one is Arlington. That's no surprise to me at all. Bachelor completion rate 25%. I mean 25%. 25 and older, 78%. Back at ages 25 with a and up with a bachelor with a graduate degree, 42%. I'm not surprised. These numbers are not surprising me. Racial gap in bachelor's degree attainment minus 10%. Right. I'm just not surprised that a bachelor's and a master's in those area. All right. No one wanted to believe it. They didn't know. They didn't know it was on there. Third, St. Pete. I saw Lil Duval talk about St. Pete. I know they lying, right? Bachelor's degree, 25 and older, 65%. Graduate degree, 38%. Racial gap and bachelor's is minus 27. Known for sparkling beaches, trendy restaurants, so forth. St. Pete, more than 65%, excuse me, of St. Pete adults have a bachelor's degree and nearly 39% boast a graduate degree, ranking number two for the highest graduate degree completion rate in our survey behind Arlington. Yet St. Pete ranks in the top five for its racial college completion gap. This is Forbes. Number four, San Antonio. All right, so I'm gonna break down the money thing for y'all. San Antonio, I'm gonna do it after this. San Antonio, number four. San Diego, number five. Phoenix, Arizona, number six. Austin, number seven. Cleveland, number eight. Reno, number nine. Raleigh, number 10. Right? So let's go back up. Let's talk about Atlanta and the why. Waiting for my site to come up. And let me see. I thought I brought it over here, but I guess I didn't. Oh, it says it's a bad request. Huh. Let me look why it says that's a bad request. Let's look and see. It's 100 of them. I didn't go through the whole list. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about it. All right. These are my own opinions. Atlanta being number one again. The metro, the what we call Atlanta, the metro area has expanded. So, if you're taking in Kennesaw into all the way out there into account, to me, that's I get it. Either way it go, I mean, you have Georgia State, Georgia Tech. You got a ton of other HBCUs right there together. It's easy for Atlanta to have um bachelor's degrees and graduate degrees right there, to me. I mean, just being from Atlanta, I mean, you can, I mean, Georgia State to Georgia Tech ain't nothing but a hop skip away. From Georgia Tech to HBCU, or Georgia State to HBCU, is a hop skip away. Right, so eh, that's easy. But what else makes that, and what people don't realize is too, places like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and so forth are also in Atlanta, as well, right? So, um, all right. So Boeing employs 27,000 people in Atlanta, direct and indirect. Let's go look at Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin has 6,500. They've decreased their stuff. All right, let's look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola employs 700,000 people. Let me make sure that's 700,000 people. Let's see how many are employed in Atlanta. 5,000 are employed in Atlanta. How about Delta? Let's see. Delta employs 42,000 people in Atlanta. That was in 2022. Let's see. It returns back to the top of the list. Let me look and see here. Yeah, that was in 2022. So you give them a rate, they're probably right at, it says corporate stats, there are 100,000 people leading Delta, but in Atlanta alone, I'm probably gonna say it's probably around between 42 to 50,000. So, right, that's just in the city by itself, right? So when you start talking about corporate, right, a lot of these places are corporate holdings, not don't I don't when I think of Delta, I think of airline, but I also think of tech, because I just know a lot of people that work in the tech department at Delta. Another big another big employer is Home Depot, right? Another big employer is Home Depot, right? Home Depot, let's see how many they employ in Atlanta. Let's see. About 10,000 plus in Atlanta. And Home Depot employs 470,000 people. So when you think about these companies and you're looking like, oh, should I go? When you walk into Dollar General, when you walk into CVS, you should think about their tech. And you should think in the corporate sense of those tech companies. How many companies you know use Salesforce? And how much tech do you think Salesforce has? And how much data and AI do you think a company like Delta would have, or Home Depot, or Salesforce, or Dollar General, or Walmart? Let's take it even one step further. How much tech do you think is in Verizon, Ericsson, Samsung, um, Sony, LG, Nike? How much tech do you think are in those companies? Now, we could continue on, but when I look at a place like Atlanta, I don't think, oh my goodness, this is a tech city. I think it's a city that employs a lot of things. And I when I say a lot of things, meaning grocery stores, technology behind those, technology behind um just the stadiums, the sports arenas themselves, the technology behind the hospitals, the research and development in the colleges. Remember Georgia, uh Isabel, what's Isabel? Sheila Isabel. She might be watching. I don't know. I doubt it. I met her at the Blackest Tech conference. She is the principal research scientist and technical program manager, expert in enterprise software modernization and strategic leader in digital transformation. I'm actually going to try to get her to come down to the show, right? Um but again, when we start talking about the division chief in software engineering and analytics division, principal research scientists, and so forth, right? When we start talking about how government clearances, like I stated at the Blackest Tech conference, a lot of the colleges work with the government to get clearances because of the research and development. Georgia Tech is one of the premiers. Quiet as it kept, Georgia State, Duke, you name it. I don't need to go build a research team. Y'all already got a research team. I don't need to go build one. You already got it. So I'll just employ you. I'll just give you the capability. Let's see. So let's hook you to some game. Some colleges with graduates who have top secret clearances include University of Maryland, American Military, University of Phoenix, George Washington, George Mason, Strayer. I don't even know who uh, Cochise is. Webster, John Hopkins, Troy. You can even go along and include in Georgia Tech. You can even include UGA, right? These are companies that work. These are uh, colleges that work with the government on research and development and actually give out. So you could literally go to college and just stay in the research development area and work with the government. What do you think we study cryptography from? Your Dukes, your MITs. You don't think MIT, John Hopkins, all of them? Come on now. John Hopkins Lab right? John Hopkins Lab, right? The list goes on when we start talking about who is doing work with who and what. Yep, they have the ability to get clearances. So go again, going to college and get a clearance while you're in college doing research and development with your PhD, and have somebody pay for your PhD and just continue to do research. Somebody got to do it. I'm just showing you a back door. And you can be strategic, and you can work at the college, and you'll be publishing papers, and you'll be well known, probably world renowned if you're doing it. And on top of that, you'll get a chance to be in whatever system that they have as far as pensions and so forth and whatever. You can then roll over and go work directly at a company that has been working with you. Let me tell you how the people that did it from natural language processing when I worked at University of Washington. When I worked at University of Washington, places like Google or Nvidia, and this was back in 2005, 2006. They would purposely come to, like, we would have like these demonstrations on how they did X, Y, and Z. So they would send in folks to say, like, it may be a handful of people in a program. So back then in that natural language program, it was probably like 10 students. And all those students, all they did was, you know, translate, figure out predictive text, so forth and so on. But you know who was coming to recruit them? Google, your places like Microsoft, and you know what? They will be offering them jobs on the spot. And they were like, you could stay in school. You could stay here, blah, blah, blah. We'll pay for your tuition. We'll pay for your this. We'll pay for your. They was getting all that paid for back in 2005. And all they do is just research. Now we roll it, and here we are in 2024. They've probably been researching for all these years. They're seen as elite in their environment, and elite and so forth. So you imagine what they're getting paid now. Yep, in UT Austin, majoring in nuclear engineering, doing research, you can get a clearance. Yeah, yeah, especially on the nuclear side. So that's what I'm saying. Like when people say, "Oh my goodness, you went to college and you got all this debt," not necessarily, because some of the jobs that you go get and some of the companies that you work for forgive those loans, or you make enough money where you can pay those loans back. Right? Just putting it out there. All right. Arlington. We already know about Arlington. Do I need to say anything about Arlington? You're sitting right there on the Virginia side. You're on the Virginia side. I mean, you're right there, Arlington, Crystal City. Need I say more? You're a hop, skip, and a jump away. Of course, of course, in that area and this is what I was saying. Like people were like, oh, when I move up to DC, I'm going to go stay in Maryland. Yeah, okay, cool. But I know for a fact Virginia got money. Arlington, Ashburn, Chantilly, all them areas out there with all the Loudoun County, all the days. What? Stop. Money. And it ain't new money either. All right, St. Pete. Why does St. Pete have the folks with degrees, especially 25 and older, with 38% of them with degrees, with graduate degrees? Why? Could it be an influx of people moving to the area? Or could it be an influx? Like, Let me do this. I always ask people this. Mm-mm-mm. This is what I always say, and I've always said it for the years. Who is buying the new construction $10 million condo? Who? Who is buying the new construction $9.7 million condo? And let me go back and yeah, let me just do houses, townhomes, condos. Who is buying this $10 million condo? Who buying it? And it's new construction, right? Let me see. Not the Saudi prince. Who is buying the $10 million condo in Florida? New construction. Let's go back. Houses, 7, 9, another condo for sale on Beach Drive, 6.9 million. Who is buying the condo on beach? This is like Park Shore with the stairs that light up. With the city with the over with the view. Somebody gotta buy it. They're not gonna sit empty. Not for long. Question is, if women in Lennox had a party in this condo, would you come? I'm just curious. If we had the condo and we threw a party here, it'd be an intimate party, you know, just a few. Look at that bedroom. I do without the drapes, but I mean they're probably blackouts, so You see the doors. Somebody got to live here. Is this in the penthouse? Am I walking over getting into the jacuzzi? So you say why St. Pete? Somebody was like, why St. Pete? Well, again, when you're talking about Florida itself, 75-mile wild tech corridor, I like to shower. And you talk about what is it like for people to get for people to make money here and make money in different ways, right? A lot of people move here, they never leave. Overseas, they never leave. It's a ton of reasons. But the other one is also it's a big government contracting area, right? Fast no fluff. That's what I'm saying. When people be like, "Where you live at?" I'm like, I want me the condo on Beach Drive with the wraparound. That's what I want. I want the wraparound. I mean, I can go on, but in this area, I mean, when we start going over here to Snell Isle, that's Dion's favorite spot. I'm just playing. It's my favorite. Snell Isle is my favorite. Right in here. If you just look at that right there, you don't see no houses over here on Snell Isle at 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. It's nothing over here like that. You don't even see nothing over here like that. The cheapest I'm seeing right now is this 1.15 million. Every other house is 8 million, 2 million, 2.6, 4.5, 4 million. Somebody got to live in them. Somebody got to live in them. Along the water, right around here, somebody living in them. Somebody buying them. Cause I drove over there and there's nothing but a whole bunch of new construction going in too. Venetian Isles, all the houses on the canal. Somebody is buying, and somebody is moving here, and some of them may be entrepreneurs. Let's not get it twisted. Some may be some may have worked and moved from other states, but best believe you got a ton of government contracting in Florida, especially over in MacDill Air Force Base, and then the fallout from MacDill Air Force Base. And so those government agencies um require you to have degrees. All right, MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa has a large and active small business program that manages over 1 billion in contracts. MacDill Air Force Base is home to 30 military units and 30 military units and DoD organizations will create contracting opportunities for small businesses. That's just the small business side at 1 billion, right? You can see here the different contracts that have been awarded. Like they just kind of gave a little summary of here, right? But then when you start talking about what type of contracts, what type of companies that come in. This is why I say always follow the money. So on that other list was Cleveland. Again, remembering when Biden putting a whole bunch of money into these other techs, other cities to create new tech cities. That's what you gotta remember. Marrying into those families may expect degrees and connections. Of course, new construction. Yep. Yep. Degrees are still important for government contractors. Believe they want what want that qualifications for that government money. Exactly. Not only that, you competing against people who've already who probably in the military when it's set down and they did nothing but get their degrees because they ain't had nothing else to do. So you competing against them, but you may be more technically savvy. But you got to remember you competing, right? So the price of being in the top 1% of earners is going up, and that money is on the move. Trust me when I say $100,000 is not in the top 1%. It ain't even in the top five. It's in the top 10. So let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Because a lot of people I keep hearing these conversations. And I be like, it's not. You're not in the top 1% of earners. I know you want to think you are, but you're not. Nationally, the cutoff to be in the top 1% is 561,000, which is up 16.5% from 2015 cutoff of 482. The cutoff for the top 25% of earners, top 25. The cutoff for top 25, not top 5, top 25 of earners was 87,000 in 2020 and it's up from 9% from 2015. All right. So let's go. Bigger wasn't always better than it comes to the top states for earnings, although California 726,000 cut off for the top 1%. This goes by state. Washington D.C. is top earner 1% earners 871,000, while Connecticut is 819. And then we start looking at Texas. You got 543,000 in Texas and 668 in New York. But places like West Virginia, even in West Virginia, the top 1% is 316. Mississippi is top is 328, and New Mexico is 353 for the top 1%. So you mean tell me in Mississippi you still need to make over 300,000 in order to be in the top 1% for earners. So here is a thing a data by state. And I just want to give let's go down here to Georgia. Georgia is 143, and let me back up right here for the income cutoff for the top 10%. In Georgia, it's 143. In the top 5 is 207, and in the top 1 it is 503. And it says individuals in the top 1% in Georgia is 400, it's 46,000. But if you're in the top 1% in Florida, it's 104 of you in Florida at 597,000. The District of Columbia, it's only 3,400 of you. In Delaware, it's only 4,700, right? California, 183,000 folks at 726,000, right? These are the numbers that everybody wants to overlook when we talk about what are the top 1% per state. Montana, only 5,000 people out there in that top 1%. New York, you got 94,000 people, right? And let me see if it'll sort for me. Yeah, let me go back up. Let me do that. So if you live in Wyoming, you trying to get with people in the top 1%, it's only 2,600 of them out there. If you're in Vermont, it's only 3,100. If you're in the District of Columbia, You're looking at the top 1%. It's only 3,300 people, right? Let me see who got the largest. What pool should you play in that got the most? Was that New York? Mm-mm. So the pools that you should be playing in, if you're looking for the top 1% to date, men and women, New York, Florida, Texas, and California. New York, Texas, Florida, California. That's where you're gonna find your top 1%. And it looks like they're around about 540 and up. 540 and up. It says in 2024, the minimum income to be in the top 1% in Florida is 852,000. This is an increase of 157,000 from the threshold. Yep. Yep. So I'm glad you mentioned that. You said focus on zip codes. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me see. Because I pulled it. Let's see. Mm. It ain't in my document. Let me pull it. And let me go Florida. Let me go Atlanta. Okay. I had pulled it earlier. That's okay. You can do the same thing. You can go find it out for yourself. But here, Atlanta has several wealthy zip codes, including one of the most expensive for homes, and ones are considered among the wealthiest in the country. 30327, 30305, 30306, 30342, and 33109. The richest zip code in Georgia is 30327, which is located in Atlanta. This is the home to Chastain Park, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Atlanta. The median household income is 164. The median home price is 1.3 million. And remember, like I said, when we're talking about Georgia, we're talking about let me go back up and fly in Georgia. We're talking 503 for the top 1%. You got about 46,000 people, but to be in the top 10, it's only 143. You can beat your chest. You can get a job at 200,000. You'll be right there. Let me go back now. You'll be right there in between the top 10 and the top, let me see, the top 5. So you'll be top what, 7, top 6, top 7, something like that. But if you over 207, you'll be closer to the top 3. There's nothing wrong with that. So top 10%, let me sort it by that. So 100,000 nowhere, not even Mississippi, puts you in the top 10. The top 10 is 115. Top 10 is 115. That's the lowest on this map. Top 10. Right? So why am I showing you this? Why did I give you all this data? One, I found it interesting. Two, is to let you know what it looks like in these cities to be in the top 1%, 5%, 10%, and Again, where is the money flowing at in those cities? Why is Chastain Park area one of the richest or the richest in Georgia? Why? What's in the area? What's flowing in that area? Right? What's flowing in St. Pete? What is happening in those areas? What what companies are moving there? Foot Locker said they want to move their headquarters to Florida. They're in Oregon. I guess they're tired of being in Oregon. And guess what they're gonna be doing? If they moving their headquarters to St. Pete corporate, they're gonna be looking for people to work in their tech part. Right. Foot Locker announces its relocation of its global headquarters to St. Petersburg, Florida. It came out on the 28th. Right. Shout out to Ricky. He had sent me a message on what you call it on LinkedIn. I think it was right. It said we'll move from New York City to St. Pete. So they moved from New York to City to St. Pete. They have a division in Oregon. Now maybe they're just their tech division. Foot Locker will be the third Fortune 500 headquarters based in St. Pete and the fourth in Pinellas County, joining Jabil, Raymond James, and Largo TD Synex. Right? Ark Invest is already here. Right? So you got to start looking at what's going on in those areas. What's going on in your city? Scroll back to Texas. What do you mean, right here? Here, I sort it by state. Make it easy. Texas, the top 10% is 150. The top 5% is 219, and the top one is 543. And there's 127,000 people in the top 128 if you want to round it up in the top 1% in Texas. Here we go. For Texas. Texas has many wealthy zip codes, but who what are those zip codes? 77024, 78746. This is Austin. The DFW area 76092, 75022, 7034, and Houston 7005. Median income of 240,000. Now, if they got a median income of 240,000 in Texas, that puts them right there in between that 1 and 5. This is 10, this is 5, so they fall right in the 3% range, right? Probably more than likely, right? So again, understand why this was made. San Antonio, San Diego, Austin, Cleveland, Reno, and here's the larger list if you want to look at it. I think they came out with 100, so you could go through and start reading through how they came up with it. Here's their methodology that they use. Here's the sources right here in which they use. And again, BLS, education pays, right? Earnings and unemployment by educational attainment in 2023. Professional degree, doctoral degree, your master's, and these are weekly earnings. your bachelor's. So those that don't have a master's and you are pulling down more than 2,200 a week, you're doing better than a doctor on a weekly basis. All right. So let's see what that is, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see what it is. All right. Let's say you made $100 an hour and you worked 40 hours a week. That puts you at 4,000 a week. Let's say you made $100. Let's say say you got a job that's paying you 85 an hour and you work 40 hours a week. At 3,400. Remember, it was only 22 something when we was looking at it. We close this one. Where was it at? 22, yeah, 2109 and 2206 median, right? And then they show you where they pulling data from. Everybody through the Social Security office got a Social Security number, so I trust their stats. I trust their stats. You got to report to them whether you're 1099 or whatever. I trust their stats. And then they have their latest releases, employment projections. Remember, we got employment going down. I mean, not employment, but the interest rates going down. And then here's what they have an employment projections all the way out to 2033. Right? Employment projections out to 2023. The U.S. economy is projected to add 6.7 million jobs from 2023 to 2033. Where are those jobs projected to be headed, and what does that look like? Who is, what states, what cities are that? Computer and mathematical occupations are projected to grow the second fastest of any occupational group at 12.9%. The growth of computer and mathematical occupations is expected to stem from demand for upgraded computer services, continued development of artificial intelligence solutions, and increasing amount of data available for an analysis. In addition, the number and the severity of cyber attacks and data breaches on the U.S. business is expected to lead to greater demand for information security analysts. Technological advances may also to lead to increased productivity for some occupations. The growth of the e-commerce as well as advances in technology are expected to limit demand for sales workers, leading to employment declines. Similarly, automated systems and related technology, including AI, are expected to contribute to declines in employment, office and administrative support workers. Right? They're telling you. It is projected based on what they see. And this is stuff that y'all need to be reading on. And I would take it even one step further because I'm sure they'll tell you what jobs that are out there that they're expecting to be an on demand type of situation. Right? They even give you major economic indicators, what they're going by, right? Just a way for you to stay ahead, right? A way to stay ahead. You have employment projections, and they break the employment projections down. You can see the Southeast in Atlanta, right? They also break down for all of the Southeast job openings and labor turnover in Miami and Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, occupational wages, the whole nine. They got a whole list right here for every city. Ocala, employment and wages. Like you can't miss this. It's the information is out there, right? And somebody could make a YouTube channel just going through this literally every month. Georgia job openings and labor terminal turnover for 2024. They show you they got this. You could do a 15-minute on this. Unemployed persons, how to read these reports is another thing that I think people miss out on, is understanding what they're reading when they read these reports. Just my thoughts there. Atlanta employment in June. All right, what does that look like? We already know who in these positions right here. Leisure and hospitality, education and health services. We already know who leading that. We already know who leading that. Yep. So get into it. Your area. All right, y'all. I had more, but we're hitting our 2 hour mark. But at least give you a little petty tea up front, so we didn't have to catch it on the back end. And we'll catch you all. I save this information for next week. Because there's a lot of good information in there. In terms of like how the hiring processes at tech companies. Also, I want to talk about all the security breaches with your social security numbers getting hacked. Some things that you could do to protect yourselves as well. Again, I appreciate y'all for sticking with us and rocking with us for the 2 hours and catching us when we come on and go live. I try to make sure that I give you interesting information, things that you can use right now, not in 5 years. And always remember, it's always a strategy to get rich. You just got to pick which strategy you want to go down. You can always start a YouTube channel, but you better be interesting. All right. Catch you later.